Good afternoon. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, where we go deeper into the stories that matter. I'm DJ Moises. Today, we'll talk about a topic that's been sparkling a lot of conversations online. And this conversation is meant to educate, clarify, humanize, not to judge. Joining us is Kendra Aballe.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Kendra Aballe of the Cebu Pride Movement, who will share her insights about gender identity and attraction. So, good afternoon, Kendra, and
Good
welcome to the show.
afternoon.
So, maybe you can greet your
Hello,
millions of
guys.
followers. No?
Hello to the Pride community in Cebu. Hello to the University of San Carlos Economic Society.
You're still a student.
No, I graduated last year.
Okay.
So, hello, guys.
So, sige, before we get into labels and definitions,
Okay.
maybe you can share to me and the viewers how would you like people to understand you as a person beyond categories, identities, and labels?
Growing up, because we came from like a humble background in the province. So, before me nag-migrate here sa city, before we live here in the city. By the way, Auladro ba ta magbisaya?
Oh, pwede rin yun.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought like very strict ang English. But like, yes, before we migrated here sa city, so I came from like a very conservative na background. So, of course, labels is like very important, like how you identify as a man, how you identify as a woman. So, it's very important sa family namo. But like, going to a big city, I realized na it's more on how people treat you as a person rather than how they would label you, for example, as a person. So there were times na I treaded along the lines on what I should become as a person. Like, should I become straight? Should I become like trans woman? Should I become a gay person, bisexual? It's really fluid. So just came to understand that it's important how you deal with people, how you humanize every interaction. I think that's like the very core, and I would love to be appreciated in the things that I do and the things that I do for the community, and I would like to be addressed as a human person and a human being first and foremost.
And if I captured it correctly, there's somewhere about what you said. It's more important on how people are treated
Yes.
rather than labeled.
Yes, for
Okay.
me. So that's like my live na parang struggles inside within the community.
So now let's move closer na to conversations about labels also, no, and how people would perceive the community, no. So when the conversation would go into gender and attraction, at least from what you have observed, what are normally the misconceptions, or what do people usually misunderstand, no?
Ang pinakauna siguro no kay like people think that having a certain gender is just like because of your upbringing, like sa imong parents default, for example, or like parents blame themselves, imong uncle i-blame imong mama kay nganong soft ra kay siya sa imong pag-upbringing, that's why you became like a like part of the LGBT community person. So parang what's one of the things that normally in a nuclear household, parents normally have that conversation on how to correct a child. Like what type of upbringing should I be like? Should I be like more of like a kanang machoistic na kanang to the point of having that idea of being toxic masculinity just to have a straight kid, or should I be more gentle but at the same time have the parang irk nga pwede siya nga ma-part sa LGBT community. So that's like one of the thing within the parenting, within the parents, within the nuclear household. The other thing is like within the bigger scope of community, people think that it's a phase, like it changes over time, that you just need to like maybe introspect within yourself and like took a pause, go on sabbatical, like go back to church and you will repent and go back to your original like gender. So that's basically like what most people like think about it.
So, like what I told you also before the start of the show, we also did some research, no? And then and correct me if I'm wrong, if our research is correct, but we often hear terms like gender identity and attraction and would commonly think that they are the same. Are they the same or not?
No, they're not basically, because your gender identity is what you identify yourself. So if you identify yourself as a man, for example, then you're a man. And if you identify yourself as a female, then you're a female, for example, as a woman. But your sexual orientation, or that orientation rather, so your orientation is like how you are attracted to with a person. So you might be a man, but you are or
Attracted.
yeah, attracted, or your orientation is with your same
Man.
man, same, same person, same kind. So
Or
yeah,
same gender identity.
yeah,
No.
yeah, because it's different.
That becomes
yeah.
different. Sige. So why don't sige kanang kay I'm sorry no because I also maybe have added to the confusion. So maybe kanang sige how can you explain it to a person for example who is hearing this for the first time? Sige.
Sige.
Okay.
So they say daw na ang imong orientation or imong identity, or actually imong identity is within your brain. So what you think about yourself.
So it's internal.
Yeah, no, but more siya imong thinking.
Okay.
So imong pangutok. So it supersedes like ako, lalaki ako, babae ako. But your orientation is what you feel, what you are attracted
Attracted to.
So parang I am attracted to Sir DJ. So like we identify ourselves siguro man and man, and I'm attracted to you still. So that your attraction is based on your emotions, on your feelings from the heart.
So is it correct then that if people become better educated about this, that these two are actually two different questions, not one?
Yes.
No, meaning like for example, when we meet a person, we just don't put the label right away, but we actually need to ask two questions. No?
Yes.
What's your gender identity? And then who you are attracted to.
So
Instead of labeling them into just one.
yeah,
Sige
I mean
daw.
like in a casual conversations, I don't think like that's very like
Very
the
formal kayo.
Okay.
Okay.
What's ito mong gender identity, like diba daghan ra kayo, super I
No.
think it starts with asking siguro people first their pronoun, how they want to be addressed to.
Pronoun is associated with the identity or with the attraction. Kana day.
So ang pronoun is like more on your identity.
Okay, katong
Because
what
with
you
your
think.
brain, what you
Okay.
think, who
Okay.
you are.
Okay.
Yung mo ng personal identification.
Okay.
So basically what's what you think. So it's more of your identity. So you should ask that. I think drilling on like the people's like orientation, that takes a lot more of like another coffee session or like it takes a level 2 relationship within the community because not everyone is like actually comfortable
or
with,
open.
yeah, so it's not like a conversation starter, unlike pronouns for example. So that's something that within the community kasi it's very diverse. Like you also need to be careful, but you need to think that you need to provide safe spaces for everyone. You don't want to out a person just because you put him like in a situation like diba. So it's important also like to be mindful in what you think and what you say.
And I'd like to highlight that piece, no? And then, so this is my time also to further educate also the general public ba? And then, and if I'm educating them wrongly, call my attention.
Yes.
So that means there, because I noticed that a lot of global companies would already encourage
Diba?
employees to put their pronouns on the signature. And I will have to say, some people would automatically assume the attraction the moment they see the pronoun. But now, it's already clear that the moment they see how a person identifies himself, herself, or what's the third gani? Itself? Or
themselves.
Themselves. Oh, sige. Himself, herself, and themselves. It's just what they identify their gender.
Yeah.
But when it comes to who they are attracted to, it's a separate conversation.
Correct.
Okay, so I think that's a good education, no?
Correct.
Okay, we get to see
That
pronouns
starts from
naman.
there because
Yeah.
even like national discussion SOGI, people still gets like conflicted about that.
Correct. Sige. So now let's take some real examples, no?
Okay.
So I have here several photos, and for clarification or for better understanding, I will also ask you some questions, no? About your thoughts about this. Sige. So correct me if I'm wrong, but when I did my research, the person on the left is Angelina King.
Yes.
And
Okay, nag-next na siya.
the next act
Okay.
is Angelina King. And then she identifies herself as a trans woman.
Yes.
However, her attraction is to a woman.
Yes.
Sige, can you explain that further?
So that's actually like she identifies herself as a woman mismo. So ang that trans woman is like more on the expression na.
Okay.
So there's like another pa actually nga dimension.
Sige, we'll talk about that
But
another
yes.
time, but I get that.
But
Sige.
yes. So
Sige.
so what happened is like I think gender is just so fluid. I mean that's the importance of like what we do in the Cebu Pride community is like we open safe borders for everyone. And in a city, for example, that we live in, very conservative city, we try to open these discussions na if you identify yourself as this, like as this person,
As
for
a woman,
example,
no?
and you get attracted with like another person, for example, it doesn't really mean that that's like a nail in the coffin. You can change, for example. So, like we appreciate gender because it's fluid. We exist because we don't want to put definitions and we don't want to put parang borders na this is what you are and this should what you become like until the end of the life. So parang what happened here is like it's just I think when they say love, like love really flourish, like regardless of the person, for example, regards to identities. We also have pansexual people, for example, like they don't really care about like your gender identity as a person, but they care more on like the feelings, your mindfulness, your attitude, your behavior. So there are those people. So I mean, that's part of the beauty of the gender spectrum.
Sige, when you say fluidity ba, what does that mean? Although I have my own,
Yeah.
I thought my understanding, but this is a perfect time for
Yes.
me to also kanang make sure that I'm understanding it correctly. What does fluidity mean?
So, just fluid is like fluid in the basic form is water, diba? Water is without border. And like it can shape a form, it can transcend through matter, and like just like gender, for example, like it's not like one label like for a person. Like you're allowed to explore, you're allowed to do introspection with yourself, and you're allowed to choose the gender identity that makes you happy.
That you really think you
yes, because we see people, di ba, na they have children at the early stage of their life, but at the end stage, they have this parang bottled para na emotions like on the same sex or same person, same kind. So like at the same time, that makes them we allow them to explore because maybe in their time it's not really that allowed, it's very taboo, unlike right now that we celebrate children na, di ba, masayo sa pasil, magsanto ninyo, like lipay kita sa Facebook, but during their time they don't have any outlet, so they don't really have that fluidity to explore their own borders.
They're still more confined.
Yes.
Okay.
Confined. So that's what I meant about being gender is fluid. Like it changes over time. You're allowed to introspect. There's no harm. You're allowed to be malleable. You're allowed to be flexible. Like what you think.
Sige. Now let's move to the next photo.
Si ano ba?
Sige. So
Si Meme
this
Vibes.
one, if my kanang research is correct, the person on the right identifies himself as a man.
Yes.
No? And then but he is also attracted to a woman or a trans woman.
Yes.
Sige.
So that makes him straight
Yes.
as a person.
Okay.
Because Vice identifies himself or herself as a woman. So and she is
I get
female presenting. She's female
get you.
presenting. So basically, Ion fell in love. Like let's just say, of course, because of like the goodness of Vice and everything else, but because also she is a woman. So Vice as a woman, Ion is then a straight man. So, di ba, ang conversation, people most likely think na parang,
They look at the old identity,
Yes.
not what is the identity
Yeah.
now. That's clear
So,
to me now.
that's
Continue.
correct. So, parang ganon. So, not yung mga terms, pero like, people say na Ion is already like part of the LGBT community because just because he
Because of
got
their
attracted,
relationship,
yeah, with
no?
Vice. So, but we need to understand, like people need to understand that Vice already identifies herself like as a woman, and it's very female presenting. You can see her like she is like a mom, a mother, and she's mothering. She slays. So parang that's why so Ion itself is a straight person.
Sige. And then the final one. Sige. So Nick recently identified himself as a man, no? Trans man, and then days later, days later or weeks later, he he said that he is bisexual. No, so how is the, for the lack of better term, good? What can you say about? Is it a progression what are your thoughts about that also?
I mean, again, ako na ganahan na gyud sa today's world and generation is that we're very open to this type of discussion, diba? So kids are allowed to explore and whatever means they are. And like I'm very happy for Leia Salonga because she publicly supported young offspring.
Nick,
Yeah, Nick, for example. So I'm very happy na we have this kind of parents. First and foremost, I'd like to point that out because a very solid support system is very essential for the upbringing of the child. So, diba, if a household is very traumatizing for you, it's very harmful and toxic for you, you won't be able to like explore really your deepest identities. So that's very important. And then what happened to Nick, it's maybe like it's whatever. What is his pronoun ba or her pronoun? He currently.
Yeah.
Okay. So his pronoun is like he. So what I think what happened to him is like he was able to like really just explore because he has like a very supportive support system. So that's very essential. And then he is allowed to continue exploring, for example, the spectrum. So it doesn't mean that you are a bisexual or like a gay person now you're not allowed to become bisexual the next day and you become attracted to like the opposite gender or the same sex or same gender. So yon, parang there's really not a lot of explanation about it. It's just
It
him
is what it is.
exploring
No.
so much about it. It's not like something in the mind. And I've heard his story actually. Like he struggled also so much with peer pressure, with so much with happening like normal with a teenage life, like part of the puberty and upbringing. So parang give the child a break at the same time. Like guys, like I see the comments sometimes and like it's really not cultivating that culture of or cultivating healthy discussion. So I guess people you need to like think before you click and that's a child. So let's have like safe space for everyone to grow and discover themselves.
So you've mentioned earlier about kanang fluidity ba? So my follow-up question is there is a trending kanang what's this? Trending trend.
Trending trend.
In-
Very trendy.
in social media which is labeled as factory reset, no? So for the viewers because it's viral, no? There's already a lot of content that are about it and that's even the reason why it's surfaced in our show's radar because there's a lot of online debates also that are happening around the subject. So for the benefit of our viewers, okay, I also made a little bit of a survey and not all of them, they just saw the trend, but they don't necessarily understand what the trend is about. So can you walk us through, di lang put in 1 hour, but
Quickly.
in simple terms, what's this trend about?
So again, the term itself started within the community because we have so many terms within the community that like us only appreciate siguro like within the community we love saying this type of things because like being fun and being outrageous is to be part of the community. So that's part of our identity too as a community. So I think it started first in the community, like a banter towards another, like kanang isulti nimo sis kanang marag na factory reset na mga kay marag kapoy man ka, so pasabot ana marag hago na kay mong naong, so marag ano na kay ka marag kulang na kagtulog, so mo na ang pasabot. But when it became like a trend in social media, like it became like a Pandora box of people like showing their journey, diba? From being part of the LGBT community, transitioning to become straight people. Like other contents even is like going back to like saying na going back to church or going back to a certain religion. So those are the some types of discussion. And then that's where it became harmful because from a safe banter that we have in the community, people now place this parang connotation na that people within the LGBT community can factory reset because at the same time you are a defect, like a factory defect in the first place. But at the same time, people think that if others can do it, why not you? Diba? So there are those harmful connotations that I think needs to be addressed. And that's why some sectors within the community are trying to address it as a harmful trend because it has placed those in connotation. Because remember, it may not be harmful to you because you're already self-assured of yourselves, but within the community, you always need to think that there are those people that are struggling still. So there are still those people with conservative parents who might see the post, or those people, those children that are still exploring themselves. So parang you just need these types of, some people saying na marag padako raman ninyong issue out of like very simple term, but we need to address those issues because it starts kasi the confusion for everyone, and it starts the struggle for everyone, which is being part of the community itself is already a struggle because it's not yet much understood. It's not like we are accepted but we're not celebrated, diba? So there's still laws that we fight for and everything, but so we have this discussion because we want to educate everyone about it.
So, if I captured it correctly, what you're saying is the term factory reset is a term that's been used within the LGBTQ plus community for a long time already.
Yes.
And then the content was also created within the community for fun.
Yes.
And then what happened was it trended because some people outside the community capitalized on that and made their own interpretation of what factory reset means.
Yes.
So from being fun, it is now being taken seriously.
Yes.
Okay.
So from like very light lang sana na mga contents about it, like
Kaya I've seen murag kanang before after content.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong naman. Sakto naman ang point of view sa mga straight people, other straight people, na they say nga nang, why do you judge them? There's nothing wrong man ka in celebrating the fluidity of gender, which is true. Like we celebrate gender. So if you post, for example, your journey from being LGBT member to becoming a straight person, then that's good for you. If that makes you happy, for example, then that's good for you. What's wrong is when you say that kanang o kamo pamalik na mo sa Ginoo kay kamo makasasala mo, for example, kana, that's harmful connotation because then again other people don't have that luxury, for example. So we need to like be mindful always with what we say. So yun lang.
Sige. Kani, this one is not necessarily to put you on the spot. No?
Yes.
But it's really more of kanang understanding and also becoming better, more aware, no? So that kanang conversations would also flow.
Okay.
Sige. So, do you also think that a gay person can also change their attraction over time without necessarily peer pressure or pressure from people around them?
I think so. That's self-introspection, diba? I have people nga, not gay people, but straight people nga after having bonds with like living through life, just going through university, they recognize na they're actually attracted with the person of the same gender, for example. So with a gay person, for example, yeah, wala siya na peer pressure. That's still possible. That's still possible because it's self introspection. That's what you identify yourself, and your attraction also is beholden to you. So if that's again that if that's what your heart calls for, because that your attraction is from your heart and what you feel for, when you see, for example, like ano, di ba, may mga movies before or commercial nga like follow your heart. I think that's what it is. Like it's just about following your heart. Some people don't really fall in love because you're a man or a female, for example. They fall in love because you're a great person. We humanize it ba?
So correct me if I'm wrong, the controversy then stems from how people label it, no? Not necessarily about what it is. Makes sense ko? Because and the reason why I said, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it is already an open terminology
Yes.
that's being used with the community, no? By the community,
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQIA plus community. And then some people outside, because of social media, no, unlike before, na maybe this conversation is just within the community, but now because people put content also out there.
Mm-hmm.
So some people also did not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they began labeling it according to what they
Yes.
think is right. And the issue is that labeling, not necessarily factory reset.
Yes. I mean, context really matters in every situation. So, I think the every word that we place, it's not really that harmful. Especially the factory reset. It's not harmful, di ba? Because if you show your journey of becoming a gay person to becoming a straight person, that's your journey. That's okay. The wrong thing is when people have that perception that it's a defect. So that's it.
Yeah, because of what
A
the
factory reset is,
implies.
diba?
No, correct. There's
So,
a defect. That's why you're sending
Yeah,
it back. I-reset.
Yeah, what? That's
Got
why
it.
you do a reset because something is wrong with the device, di ba? Kung factory, balik mo sa factory ba?
I
Kaya
got
ka na,
it.
guba siya on the first place.
And then na-repair,
Na-repair,
naulian.
naulian siya mo na nabalik siya sa iyang murag.
Got it, got
gitawag
it.
murag kuan, iyang auto mode, iyang
Which
factory
the
mode.
community originally did not mean it that way.
Yes, it's more of like a banter. Like,
Mm.
ano, marag, like, for example, if I'm a trans woman and then after a long day, I got so tired, people would call me like, na factory reset na ka. Because akong naong is like, murag, guba na kayo. But,
People did not understand.
Yeah.
They get the content.
they
and
get the
then-
content without the context
Got it.
na where it came from. And that's where it became harmful once again because it's not just, with the social media, di ba, wide ba ya kayo? You cannot really like control who gets this, who views me here, who hears us in this podcast. Like, everyone is so varied. So that's why it's important na we clarify. And that's why people are acting to clarify. Now, there's nothing wrong with certain gender types. And there's nothing wrong also if you switch to becoming a man. There's nothing wrong to say nga it's a reset because na factory defect ka on the first place. That's wrong. So, there's nothing wrong in what you feel as of the moment. Ang wrong is the connotation
that it was a defect.
on the first place.
Got it. Sige, now moving past that, because I think it's also clear to me where the
Yeah.
controversy is coming from, and I think this is also a good lesson for those who are frequently on social media, because some of the content rabapod are sometimes purposely twisted to gain
Yes.
followers, no?
Yes.
So I think this is also an age and time for more people to dig deeper and then have their own understanding rather than just jumping on something and then forwarding it without the context. no?
Correct.
Or
That's-
even creating the content without the context.
Yes,
no?
that's correct.
Sige. Now let's move past na the controversy. So how do you draw the line, or how can people better draw the line between respecting individual experiences and then while at the same time pushing them into something that could eventually hurt them? Lawom, no?
Long siya. It's very long leave ka to nga part.
Sige, I'll use another analogy. Agoy kanang kuan gid ha. Another analogy. For example, a person is overweight. 'Di ba? There's a loving way of telling the person nga I think kanang you might be more mindful about your lifestyle and also your physical movements to keep you healthy.
Because you're concerned.
Concern compared to adto na sa gym kay unhealthy na kayo ka. So how does people draw the line? Because to a certain extent, sorry, to a certain extent, there is also love, man said. When you tell the person, maybe
More
you,
tough love.
yeah, or maybe you need vegetables, no? Inana,
Yeah.
or maybe you need exercise, no? Compared to pasagdan na pud nako nga unhealthy na gyud ang iya ang lifestyle. So how do we draw that line? Because I know it's a tricky line also, no?
Yes.
Especially, sige, yeah, I think I have an idea of the answer. Continue. Sige.
I mean, kami, within the Cebu Pride Movement, within the community, diba, we are group of people. So, we put human interactions first. So, that's what we do. Like, we build relationships first. In order for you to have the tough love mentality, for example, in order for you to push people into a certain extent, whether to advise, like, the gentle love, or tough love, for example, because you care for them, it takes, I think, first is like, you need to build that connection and relationship. And second is, it's just about having a humane interaction with people. I think what we forgot, like, throughout these years ba, is like, we are all human. Sometimes people just become super harsh on other people. Nga, they forgot nga, the reason why, like, we are here to coexist. Like, we are not here to, like, compete. So,
Or cancel each other.
yeah, cancel each other. Like, if you think that the other person is a human too, he is like a feelings too, and he deserves to exist too, then that's the time na you'll be able to determine what type of advice are you going to give to that person. So, it doesn't work kasi na parang gaan na nimo always og tough love or gaan na nimo tanan og soft love in default. It really depends on the level of relationship, the type of persona that person is, if he's able to take in like that hard conversations, but at the same time, in all those advices, put a sense of human touch.
I think that's
Put a sense that you are talking to a human person, and parang there's no need to add so much hate in the world. That's why we exist in the Pride community. We just celebrate love. Like, there's an event actually in Capital in the 14th, but
I heard about that,
and
yes.
it's all about just celebrating love because
so it's pushing through.
yes, it's pushing
Okay,
through.
I
And
heard
it's-
about that last year.
and it's all about like we just celebrate the differences. Diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, the very core of the LGBT community. I mean, that means everyone as a person is respected, whoever, whatever they are. So, again, guys, if you give advices, put human touch and just always think that whatever you do to the other person, it reverberates in this universe. There's karma. So you better like watch out.
Sige. So now about to close na ta with this interview. So to summarize the not really everything, but at least just the takeaway, no, for our viewers. If there's anything about the trending factory reset that people should not misunderstand, what would that be?
I think you should not misunderstand that gender and being part of an LGBT community is a defect. For parents, it's okay if you have children that are part of the community. You are there because you're their parents, you're their rock, you're their very guiding force. Be there for them. For those students, for those part of the queer community that are still exploring, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, keep on exploring, be unapologetically you. Like, you don't need to parang be mindful sa imong self or like be sorry on who you are, because there's a community that's willing to accept you. I mean, I came from a very, like, my study, I am in USC, but we push for methods na para we create safe environments for students like you. If you don't feel safe on where you are, there's like loving community outside. There's Cebu Pride Movement. There's Love Yourself Cebu. There's so many agencies that are willing to help you. Again, I think ang wrapping up na ako is that within the community, it's a very solid bond and we are here to look out for each other. There's nothing wrong in being us. We celebrate each other, we lift each other, and we'll always be here forever. We're here to stay.
Sige. Now, zooming out again, and this is my last question, and this has something to do with the way we use social media. So this is now whether it's the trending,
Yes.
factory reset or not, whether it's about anything, no? Because I think the with social media, information is now democratized, meaning
Yes.
anybody will have a say, and anybody can have a reaction.
A double-edged sword.
Correct. It is a double-edged sword. So, is there any message also that you have for viewers in general, again, not confined to gender identity or
Yes.
attraction? How can we disagree and ask
Agree to disagree.
questions without losing compassion?
Yeah, I mean, that's very important because right now everyone is fighting in social media, right? It's so like
Almost about
yeah,
anything,
it's pandemonium levels. Like, guys, ano nangyayari? Like, sa comment section, everyone has their own opinions and almost everyone is canceling each other. But I think we all have our preferences, but there's also one thing. There's universal truth. Like, if you are a thief, if you're a corrupt, that's a bad thing. That's nothing to be celebrated for. If you are doing good things to the people, like doing things, that's to be celebrated for. Now, where's the parang center line? The center line is when we have discussion, we don't attack the person ad hominem. That's a no-no. When we do conversations, we try to like put ourselves in the other's shoes. Although as hard as it might be, swallow the bitter pill. Like, why is this person defending that person? Why is this person having super strong thoughts that he
About-
like was likely like trying to kill your like you as a person or trying to like harm you and your community, diba? So that starts within there. You put yourselves in other shoes and you put yourself like in a compromise, in negotiation. In economics, we're taught that it's only through negotiations that we create the Pareto efficient point, which is like the happiness where everyone is happy. So if we talk with each other, put human touch in our interaction, especially in social media, then that's the best way that we can do it. It's very hard because everyone can just create social media, but that's a good thing also because we're not communists. So we can express our expression. But just think that whatever you do, it will always come back to you. Like, people would say, wala man siguro backlash because he doesn't know me. But I always believe in universal karmic energy. Like, it will always go back to you, whatever you do, tenfold. So spread kindness and you will have kindness 10 times to you.
Sige, thank you, Kendra, no, for joining us today.
Thank you,
I
sir.
also like how the conversation is flowing
Yeah, I
because it
appreciate
also means that people can understand each other when we don't also stop being human.
Correct.
Sige, so our discussion today reminds us that beyond the headlines are people, real stories, real experiences, and that's what matters most. I'm DJ Moises, and this has been Beyond the Headlines. Thank God it's Friday. Have a good afternoon.
Thank